episode of Comics Review. I'm your host, Kevin Starkey. The first comic I want to talk about today is 5 Days to Die. This is by IDW. The writers Andy Schmidt and Che is the artist on this one. And first of all, this is a noir thriller. This is issue number 1. It's coming out weekly in the month of September of 2010, and each week there'll be a new one, so there'll be 5 issues, and it's really cool. Great artwork, great writing. It's basically about this guy who is a cop, and he's in an accident. He thinks it's intentional. His wife and daughter are in the car, and he's got sort of a rocky relationship with his wife, and his daughter, she's kind of distant from him, I guess. I think she's like a teenager, and they get in this wreck, and they're all in the hospital. He's not that bad off, at first is how it comes across, and his wife and daughter are really bad off, and they tell him he's got this debris lodged in his head, and if he gets up and moves around, he'll only live for 5 days. But if he just stays there at the hospital, they can do surgery and probably remove it, and he'll be fine. And he is determined to go get revenge on who he believes purposely caused his wreck. And then he finds out his wife dies, and his daughter is going to live. And it kind of ends there, and he's going after who he thinks did this revenge. One of the things about the debris lodged in his brain, they said it's near where his memories are, and that, I'm thinking that part of the story is going to come into play somehow. My suspicion is that maybe he's imagining these things, and that stuff being there is causing him to think that he needs to go do this. I don't know. It's going to be good no matter what, but excellent comic. Highly recommended. The artwork's great, like I said, and the writing is great too. The next thing I want to talk about, this one is almost very similar to that one. This is 1 Month to Live. This is by Marvel. I'm not usually a Marvel collector, and actually there's the Thing and Spider-Man on the front here. It's very hard to see if you don't really look for it, and that almost kept me from getting this one, because I'm not really the superhero genre type, but once I bought it, I actually saw it first, saw them on it, and I put it back. And then I went to the other comic book. I go to 2 different comic book stores. The second one, I must have forgotten about it. Picked this one up, thought it sounded good, and then I realized after I bought it that those guys were on there, and I thought, well, crap, I bought it out. I might as well check it out, and it's really good. This guy, what was the situation here? He's got a month to live. He's got a crappy job, and he doesn't want to tell his wife that he doesn't like his job, and he works really hard, and they're taking care of his niece. She lost her family, and he, in the process of doing his job, he sees some man about to be robbed, I guess. I don't want to give too much away, because you should really check this one out. He sees somebody being robbed by some pretty nasty looking guys, and he decides to go stand up for this guy and try to protect him. And he gets really messed up by these guys, and the Thing happens to be in the neighborhood and rescues him, basically. But in the process, he ends up being this hero, or looking like a hero. So then the Thing takes him to Reed Richards, who tries to help him, and in the process of helping him, discovers that the man has cancer. And so the man goes out and he starts to realize that he has some kind of strange powers now. The guys who beat him up did something to him, which I don't want to give away. I think that's what caused it. And this man initially thinks that Reed Richards did something. He really did cure his cancer, and it's just crazy. The story's kind of, the superhero aspect of it makes it a little wacky to me, but so the man decides to do something bad with his new powers. Well, I guess the ends of what he wants to do are good, but the means are bad, and he's using his powers to do this thing. And then his wife and his niece find out that he did this thing and sort of convince him that that's not the way to be, and so he undoes it. Spider-Man is there in that scene and is going to turn him in, and then he sort of pleads with him, and so Spidey lets him off, and then it sort of ends with him deciding he wants to do good with his newfound powers, and he's only got a month to live. So it's really good. I know I drug that one out kind of long, but I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of the superhero genre, it probably won't be annoying to you, but like it was to me. But it's good. It's definitely good. That's 1 Month to Live by Marvel. This is the second one. The third one I want to talk about is The Scourge. This is by Aspen Comics, and this is #1. And this is really cool. These two guys are buddies. The one is a dentist, and his other buddy here has a son, and he's just recently gotten divorced, and it's kind of a messy divorce. And his dentist friend says, "Hey, let's go to Europe on vacation, and you can relax and stop thinking about all this crap." And he's like, "Okay," and they go. And while the dentist is sort of hiking, exploring, rappelling from a rock, he goes inside of this cave, and something is in there and gets on him. And on the plane ride back, he sort of freaks out, and they almost think they want to turn the plane around because he's kind of turning into a maniac. He calms him down. The guy realizes he wants to get this guy back because he's got to meet with his son and stuff like that. And once they land, this guy's really in trouble, and his friend is like, "Okay, I'll take you to the hospital." They get to the hospital, and this man just turns into a wild beast creature, and it sort of ends there. It's really a fun read. I'm really enjoying it. Definitely going to pick up the next issue and see where they're going to go with this story. But that's The Scourge. Check it out. The next one I want to talk about is Kane and Lynch. This is issue #2. It's by Wildstorm Comics. And this is based on, there's a video game, I guess, Kane and Lynch. And I've never played it, but I saw an ad for it recently, and I hadn't realized at first that this was a video game. It's cool. These two guys are down in Cuba, and they're running from people. They're being chased. Then they get a boat ride home from Cuba to the U.S., and they start talking about how there's this bounty on their heads of $10 million, and they want to try to talk to the lady who's put this bounty on them and try to get her to, plead with her and make a deal with her to take these, get these people to stop chasing them and trying to kill them. And the people giving them a ride on the boat hear this and basically decide that they want to get that $10 million. And there's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of action. It's a cool read. Definitely gonna get the next one. So that's Kane and Lynch. Check it out. I enjoyed it. And then the final one here is Torchwood. This is issue #2. This is by Titan, who I'd never got before. If you're a fan of the show on the BBC network, this is very, very much like the show. I don't want to give anything away. The one complaint I would say about it is that the humor from the show is in here, and it doesn't do as well in print as it does on the show. There are a lot of situations, and they're joking and making funny comments and stuff, and it's a little annoying reading it. Watching it on the show, it's good. It works, but I don't think it really works in print as much. And that is it for this week. If you could please leave a comment on YouTube or over on my blog at twodognight.net, I'd like to read it, and I'll definitely respond. And let's talk about comics. Take care. See you next week. Bye bye.